You're listening to the Esoterics Podcast, hosted by Joe Figueres and Fioraliz Franco. Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. We are so happy to be back.
Yay, we are so happy to be back. And today is a bonus episode because we're going to make a huge announcement, but we also want to catch up, talk about our summers and what everybody's been up to since the retreat in June.
Yeah, it's been a good summer. I feel like it wasn't one of those where like, oh, like I just can't wait for this to be over.
No,
I really felt like I was really in it this year.
Yeah. And you've had, good weather. I mean, you're in Southern California, so, it's either hot or good
or miserable. Yeah.
Or miserable.
So we had a lot of June gloom and people were bitching about it because they were like, what's going on with the Seattle weather and whatever. And it's like, listen, do you guys remember what we're going to get into when it comes July? Like, let's just enjoy the gloom while it lasts. And yeah, sure enough, I mean, we've had a few 105-degree days. Yeah, but it's tapering off. It's getting better. Like the nights are cooling down, so it's manageable now.
Are you able to spend time at the pool during the day when it's that hot?
Yeah. I was out there yesterday, just me by myself.
Oh, yes, and it's shady too. That big old tree in the corner.
Yeah, it's like half shaded and then half not, so I can tan on one side if I want to. Yeah.
So that's what we're experiencing here right now in Portland is that 100-degree weather, which is very unusual here. But the good thing is that even when it gets into the high 80s and the 90s and during the day, which I don't mind, it does get down into the 60s at night. So it's really good sleeping weather. As soon as the sun goes down, that hot nonsense bullshit is over, and it's just a beautiful, gorgeous summer day. I'm going to be honest. I love blue skies and I love 70, 75, sunny, no humidity. I love that. I don't care for the 80, 90 stuff. Yeah. But since I moved here, I have experienced the most perfect summers. Like, they're long and blue skies and zero rain. They're just gorgeous, but they're just the same thing every day.
It brings me back, though, just thinking about this is like, how can you deny astrology? Like, we're summer and Leo season, a fire sign, and then here we are on fire.
On fire.
And then the Venus retrograde.
How's that treating you?
Honestly, for me, it's been fine. Like, I had no exes, crawl out of the woodwork or anything like
Dude,
that.
I did.
You did?
Yes, I was like, I don't know what you want. Well, in Venus retrograde, it's also about relationships. I mean, ultimately, so it's any relationship.
Yes, and that, I will say, that's where it was more focused on. I know, like, Mike and I both really sat down and had to come up with more of a game plan about how our relationship with our son is, going forward, and like things that we want to implement and things that we want to make sure that like we do with him or that we talk to him about, and just things like that. So just really taking like a really solid look at that relationship, because I know I've talked about this on the podcast before. It's that realization, like, the girls are very different. The girls, like, and every child you have, I'm sure parents of multiple children can relate to this, is like every child is different, and so every child requires you to parent in a different way. You can't parent the same, for all your children. So that it's an adjustment, and it's learning, and we're learning. You don't just come in, just pop out a baby and then all of a sudden, everything to do with it. We're growing. And same thing, with our parents. Like, our parents grew at some point too. They had to learn lessons and all that stuff along the way. So yeah, I think that's really where I know that it hit me more.
Yeah, the axis popped up, but it was more just to say hello and stuff, friendly stuff. That retrograde, energy. But for me, it's definitely been about relationships. It's been about the people that I have in my lives and what they bring. Is there reciprocity? Do these relationships exhaust me? Are they creating imbalance? And it's not just personal relationships. I'm really lucky. I have a really great friend base here in Portland for the day-to-days. And then, of course, I have a really good support system, just through virtually, Michigan people, and other friends. So I am very lucky, but it spilled into my professional arena, right? Where am I overextending myself? Where am I taking on too much? Which professional relationships are exhausting and have to go?
Yeah.
And that's really where I'm focusing right now, is professionally. It's like, there are just some connections that they've got to go.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. But we're headed into Mercury retrograde at the end of this month, which it would be fine if it just didn't, the havoc that it ensues on the technology is like, we're really just, I don't want to deal with it.
When you had your travel, which we haven't talked about because we didn't record after the retreat, but we had a retreat in June in Michigan. And, I always take the red eye from Portland to Detroit, right? And then I have one of my unlucky friends have to pick me up at frickin' 6 a.m. In Detroit from Lansing, which is an 1.5 hour drive, right? So, it is what it is. But Fioraliz had a couple stops, and her flight was filled with nonsense and fuckery. It was like 12 hours late, right?
You would have thought that we were in Mercury retrograde during what I experienced. It was not. No, it wasn't. And it was awful. I'm over here crying at the airport. Oh. And it was just bad. It's bad.
I felt so bad for her. And the plan was just to get in. Lisa was going to pick me up. We were going to go do have breakfast and then come back, pick her up, and then we were going to go back, and we would have been back in Lansing by noon, right? And that's just not what happened at all. I had to drive at 11 o'clock at night from Lansing to Detroit to pick you up. We didn't get home until 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah, it was very late. It was bad. But you know what? It was the way I had to look at it was like, okay, we're just gonna get all the rough part out in the beginning, and then it's gonna be smooth sailing from here on. And it did. It did.
Which it was.
It was. And thankfully, my flight back home was a breeze, no issues there. Even though there were people who were still getting their flights canceled. I was seeing people in the airport frustrated in these long lines. I'm like, oh, thank God it's not me anymore.
Man, Michigan, we love you, but it is a challenge to get there because there are very few direct flights.
Yeah.
And layovers just cause nonsense and delays, and it's not easy.
No, it's not, but it's all right. It's all we live, we learn, I guess.
Yes.
Don't fly Delta.
No, well,
you've lost our endorsement, Delta.
That's right, Delta. I mean, I didn't have a problem with my Delta flight, but I support my friend. So Delta, you stink.
Go fuck yourself.
Well, there's that too. That's why I like staying on the West Coast for retreats, because I just fly Alaska, and it's like a 2-hour flight from my house to hers, and we're done.
Yeah,
right.
Direct.
I get picked up at the airport, and then it's fun and fuckery. So
from there on, yep.
Yeah. Well,
so
speaking of West Coast,
are we ready?
We're ready.
Okay. All right. So yes, speaking of the West Coast, we have our next retreat booked and planned.
So our newest retreat, it is called the Quantum Consciousness Retreat. Next level quantum practices for healers, mystics, seers, and alchemists.
Yes, and this is taking place in Desert Hot Springs, California, which is located just outside of Joshua Tree.
You guys, our next retreat is taking place in Joshua Tree, or near the Joshua Tree National Park.
Yes.
And listen, wait until you see the house that we've booked for this.
Yeah.
Next level, next level, next level quantum practices, next level location.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yep.
You're going to think you're at a spa
Yes.
in the desert.
And the dates for this are Tuesday, March 19th, 2024 through Friday, March 22nd.
Yep, Tuesday through Friday. So that is 4 days,
Yes.
3 nights of beautiful, wonderful, amazing scenery in a beautiful place with a pool and all of that stuff.
Yes.
But more importantly, this is a retreat focused or specialized for people that are healers, that are mystics, that are seekers, that have healing practices and clients of their own. And we're going to really focus on quantum practices. What are those, right?
Yeah.
What do we mean by quantum practices, Faith?
Exactly. Yeah. What do we mean when we're saying healers, mystics, seekers, and alchemists? This retreat is an opportunity for people to learn several different practices and techniques to accelerate their spiritual journeys. So this is whether you're somebody that's just getting started with working with others, or you've been working with others already. This is a way to level up your business and your client practices, or just to simply use the power of the quantum field to intentionally live a life of more prosperity and joy. And one of the reasons why we picked this location is because Joshua Tree is just this beautiful, immersive landscape, and that's what we're trying to pair the landscape with the teachings that we're offering.
Yeah, with the experiences, And listen, you see a lot of ads for retreats out there, those Instagram yoga, and, they're wonderful and amazing. And I'm sure that the people are coming from, their soul. But this is not one of those, hustly sort of retreats where, you're going to learn these hustly sort of practices. No, this is like going deep. It's 4 days of learning how to harness quantum energy and then use it to power your current or any new practices, using that you can use with your clients or for your own journey. And listen, I have been playing, I wouldn't say playing, I have been practicing quantum practices all summer because that's how I prepare for this.
Yeah.
And they have changed the way that I manifest, you guys. Again, next level.
And another thing I want to add in here is that it's not just the quantum practices that we may learn like through meditations and things like that. We're also integrating the practical aspects of it as well, because I think both Joe and I are very focused on that, on what is the practical, like what is how do you literally use this? Like how do you use this with somebody else? How do you teach this to somebody else? What are the foundations? So you'll learn self-mastery practices in the areas of channeling, manifestation, visualization, breathwork, and dream work. But you'll also learn to facilitate a healing circle and how to develop and interpret a soul blueprint chart for yourself and others.
Yes, so you're going to take all of these things back to your practices, and that's how you develop and you grow and you up level and you start branching out and just doing things at a higher level, doing things as in working with your clients or working with your modalities. So this really is, it's a retreat for healers, but it's also, again, it can also be a retreat for somebody who just wants to have a deeper, more spiritually aligned, joyfully aligned practice in their daily life.
Yeah, absolutely. And each member of the Sacred Weekend will have an opportunity to receive an intuitive reading using Akashic energy for even more specific insight into your soul's plan, and Reiki energy work sessions.
Right. Fee just got certified in Karuna, correct?
Yes.
Karuna Reiki. Yep.
Yes.
So she'll be giving out Karuna Reiki sessions. I know I'm going to get one in person. Holy moly. And then, we'll just find some time just to sit down individually throughout the week and look at I'll open up your soul blueprint and we'll just look at what's going on in there and maybe what the best way or the best way for you to utilize, the teachings of the weekend and moving forward and, that sort of thing. So
Yes.
Again, it's a way of looking at your specific journey and then developing practices and how to help with
Yep.
your
Yeah.
practice.
And so, yes, we're making this announcement now, but registration will open on September 1st.
Yep.
And we'll drop all the links and all that. It'll just be on our website, esotericspodcast.com. But once registration opens up, we will have that available with some payment plans, and we'll have all that ready for you when it's there.
Yeah, that's the thing that's important to us is we are offering a payment plan so that you can start the process in September, and it gives you September, October, November, December, January, February. So it gives you like 6 months to pay.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a relatively easy plan.
Yes. Yep. That's what we'll do.
Hey, what else? What is there anything else fun that we can sort of tease them with, these fun things that are going to take place?
Well, I know we've got a few things planned. We've got a water meditation planned. And then
Yes.
a part of the integration circle that I will teach, I will also teach anyone who's interested and how to not just partake with rapé, but also how to administer. So if this is something that you want to incorporate in your own practices and you want to learn to administer to others, that's something that we're going to cover as well.
We're going to go out into the desert with a sound therapy session, meditation. She's going to give a class on dream work.
Yes.
With Bobisana. Tell us what Bobisana is again.
Bobisana is a plant tincture, and it helps to enhance your dreams.
Very cool. Very cool. And it does work too. With my psychedelic dreams, I was a little bit scared, but it helped me ground in them, I think, and then remember them.
Yes, it's the recall. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. And then other fun little things, lots of free time. Of course, delicious food that we're going to have
catered. Mm-hmm.
Catered. Yes. We're not going to, there aren't any restrictions in this one. But it is going to be a healthy, like vegan or vegetarian menu with protein options.
Yes.
So yeah, we're really excited about it. We've been thinking about, sort of going big and doing it in a really, someplace like Joshua Tree for a while. So we're excited about it. We hope you all can make it. How many spots do we have available? It's not a ton.
No, we have 9 spots available.
9 spots available. Yeah. So it's not going to be some huge, crazy,
It won't be an overly large group, so that we can give you the one-on-one attention when required. And also, it just helps with the group, the cohesion of the group and the dynamics of the group to keep it small.
Yeah. And we're so lucky because we have never had at any of our retreats, we've never had personality conflicts. We've never had any challenge. Everybody just loves each other. By the end of it, everybody's besties. Now the Michigan people, they've got
their own circles. They have their own circles going, and that's wonderful because that's what we want. Like we're not, we're not out here trying to build the club of us. Like we're trying to just like encourage you to create your own community and foster your own communities and keep that going for yourself. And so I think that it'll be awesome with these practices is that somebody can come and they can attend and they can learn, and then they can take that on and teach others and build, and continue to grow their own community and do what they will with it. It's beautiful.
Yeah. One of the things that I plan to do too, I mean, with the course, like the workshops that I'll teach, is having an electronic version available for participants. So you'll have everything. You'll have a workbook and, maybe some video series, just be me recording in front of my computer because, I'm not done with the tech. There's tools that you can then use to then create your own practices, fine tune them. This stuff isn't copyrighted. This stuff is just sort of us sharing our knowledge with you. So
yes,
share it with the world.
Absolutely.
I think that's it for the details so far. Wait until you see the pictures. It's such a cool house.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that means since we've made our big announcement that it's time to say goodbye for now. We are still on a little bit of a break, but we'll be back very soon to resume season 4. So if you enjoyed today's episode, please share it on your stories and subscribe, leave us a review. This really does help our podcast grow. And if we grow, that means the ability to do this work grows with us. So we appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys for hanging out with us today. Stay mystical, magical, and don't let anyone tell you what to do.
Nope, no one.
Bye.